Hey, I'm Oleg Klapowski, one of the two co-founders and the guys running SNEG, a boutique publishing company, taking care of bringing back fantastic old classic gems from the past and ensuring more gamers can experience them nowadays. And in the past, I did some work at GOG, probably for 10, 13 or 13 years, something like this. So I know you guys.
Hi, my name is Artem. I'm the other snare guy. First of all, I would like to say I completely disagree with everything Oleg said. I'm just joking. It all makes sense.
I think at the moment when I was working at GOG, we were not thinking about what publishing means, right? So it was not important. We were just a platform. So probably let me explain what I believe publishing is nowadays. And I think it roots back to the general values of GOG and general CD Projekt Group, because I think these two things are just really aligned. For me, everything was always about games and gamers. So publishing is that arm of the company that first takes care of ensuring that there is enough of finance, funds, to ensure that the game is created. And then it ensures that gamers who are interested in such type of a game can find it, can talk, can influence partially on game development, and then ensuring that the game is successful. Because at the end, gamers are paying with their money, with their wallets, for the games they love. And this is what publishing is taking care of, building this connection between products and gamers. I believe good publishing is when publisher understands gamers and the audience for whom the product is created or was created, if we're talking about like classic games. So without this understanding, nothing will work out. And I think this is the most important element of what publishing is and what publishing should be fighting for. Understanding the audience, understanding gamers for whom the product is developed, and then ensuring that there is a connection, this bridge built between interested audience and the product. And I think it's not only about marketing money, marketing dollars, or crazy PR. It's about talking to gamers. I love this question. For quite a while, I was doing many things. Let's say at the beginning of GOG, I think this is where it all started. There was a small team. Actually, at the moment I joined, there were just 8 of us. And we were all doing many things with our own hands. I was taking care of digging into some archives, finding the rights holders, talking to them, exchanging news, testing games, working the support, many things. Throughout the years of me developing together with GOG, I finished just purely on a management position, and I wasn't able to do many things with my own hands. I know that for many people it's cool, it's about leadership, it's about talking to people and driving the company further, but I think that at a certain point I realized that I still want to do many things by my own hands. And that's when I started thinking, what should I do? Our joint friend started a small company at the time, and she proposed me whether I want to join her in her effort. And this is when I joined SNEG, because I was not the guy who just came and said, hey, this is my idea. No, actually I joined a small effort in the area where I wanted to develop. And this is how it all started. And trust me, having right now 2 guys on board, doing majority of things, not majority, almost everything with our own hands, is bringing lots of fun. Because we talk to gamers ourselves, so we get feedback, we got customer support requests, complaints, thank you letters, kudoses. We talk to rights holders, we talk to engineers that help us to create these magical re-releases and many other things. So it's pure fun. I think it's really hard to say for everyone, because I don't know how many publishers are on the market right now. Probably over 100, if not hundreds. everyone has its own plus or its own areas to improve. But I think the most important challenge is many companies are trying, publishers trying to just grab the title that has this sales potential without understanding the audience for this game. And in many cases, the relationship between developer and publisher in such case are not perfect, because publisher doesn't fully understand the audience, doesn't fully understand the values of the developer, and this is usually where the sad stories appear. While at the same time, there are quite a few publishers on the market that define their niches where they're perfectly aware of the audience, what they're interested in, what type of gameplay mechanics they're looking for, what they can innovate, what they can reimagine from some older mechanics. And this is where the benefits and greatest products are appearing, whether it's Balatro, whether it's, I don't know, Dispatch, and many other products. So there are successes, but the most important thing for every publisher is having direct contact with developer, ideally to have the same values and vision for the game and understanding the audience. It's about understanding. So again, many people like really coming and just jumping on different opportunities. And I think that's the wrong approach. You shouldn't be jumping on an opportunity just because you believe it might be a good game. If you don't understand the audience, better don't do this. It's the same thing, like we understand the most in the old games, in re-releases, remasters. So I think this is where we're strong at. But if all of a sudden you tell us, hey guys, release Balatro, we'll challenge ourselves actually whether it makes sense. The game can be fantastic, but we just don't know the audience for which this game is developed. Or we will tell openly to developer that, hey, give us 2-3 months to study the audience, to understand actually if we can help your product to benefit by having our understanding of this audience, and then we'll make a decision. Well, in my eyes, I don't believe that it's heavily dominated by subscription models. Probably this is the first thing where we might agree to disagree, because subscription models exist. That's true. There's Game Pass, there is Amazon Prime, there are a few other subscription services, and some players are in it. They're using those. Like, for example, I have Game Pass. I have Ultimate Game Pass subscription. Do I benefit from it from time to time? Yes, I do. But I still prefer to buy games, because let's be honest, part of me is all about owning the games to the degree you can own them nowadays. But I don't want to lose my games at a certain point. That's why I would prefer to purchase it directly as a premium product and then have a feeling of ownership. So I think that's the thing. When it comes to digital stores, I agree. More and more sales are going through them. I think the majority of sales are going through digital channels nowadays. And it's good that there are digital channels, because it gives easier access for gamers to the products. Yes, maybe it's getting more challenging for products to shine on these digital stores because of the amount of these games. But at the same time, digital store, I think it's the best thing that happened to all of us, I mean, to gamers. Because you don't need to go to the store, you don't need to waste time. You can go through all the games, you can read more information about the products, you can watch trailers, sometimes you can watch walkthroughs and make your own decision whether you want this product or not. While in the past, especially with the retail era, you had to go to the store, let's say GameStop, and then you need to follow advice of the guys there, because they were the secret knowledge owners, and then either trust them or not. While right now, you're doing almost everything with a few clicks from your home. So I think digital stores is great. And I doubt we need many of those, but we definitely need certain stores that are specializing in certain areas. Obviously, Steam wants to be the ultimate gaming platform for everyone, but at the same time, digital store as GOG should exist because it has its own niche. Gamers are aware that if they want to have a great classic, they should go to GOG. And I think this knowledge is growing So you should be having more and more happy customers. And with gamers getting older, and nostalgic factor will never disappear. It's part of all of us. So I hope that you'll keep on growing. Probably the toughest one, probably the best lesson is that there is always an opportunity window. And you should never give up. There are quite a few IPs that are stuck, that are blocked because some of the IP holders, a few of the IP holders, or one of the IP holders, don't want to bring this game back, or not interested at this point of time. But situation changes. If you surrendered on one game 10 years ago, don't be afraid to revisit this opportunity in a few years, because situation changes. Sometimes there is enlightenment for these people and they think, okay, yes, it's my heritage. I want to ensure that actually it's alive and gamers can experience it. Sometimes, apologies for being straightforward, some guys just want extra money. And they say, okay, we're in a position where in the past we didn't want to do this, but right now for 10 grants, we're open at least to consider it, which is something. And I think this is the best lesson that I've learned. So don't block yourselves if something didn't happen. Ensure that it should happen. And another good lesson is always be honest and transparent with the partner. More you explain, more you share your vision on what you want to do, what you want to explain, how you want to revive this or that product, better effects you will achieve. For example, we have a partner with whom we started discussions over 5 years ago. The person was a bit frustrated, scared, not understanding generally how the market of old games is working. The person was not feeling comfortable with signing any agreement, but we're still discussing it. We already had a few live meetings, we had beers, we went to a cool pub, so maybe this game will be back. Let's see. Biggest amount of fun I was personally getting, and I believe that my business partner Artem the same, was digging into the archives, finding the most complicated cases where the rights was split between 2, 3, or even more parties, and compiling all these small elements into one, ensuring that finally you gather all these pieces of the puzzle and you can present this fantastic picture, meaning game in our case, to gamers, to the audience, and being super proud of it. So I think what our philosophy is taking the most complicated cases from the industry, most crazy games that are stuck in limbo, and trying to bring them back. And there is a reason behind it, because I think that the most easy games were already revived prior to us even founding SNEG. So whether it was GOG bringing those games back, whether it was Night Dive, or whether it was Ziggurat and quite a few other guys. So I think that the most easy things are already on the market. So let us bring the toughest cases. And I think this is the philosophy, taking something that looks impossible and making it possible. There is not an easy answer here, because from one side, absolutely, we can see that there are more and more gamers interested in it. And with gamers getting older, generally, and there are lots of data reports regarding it, there will be more and more gamers who are interested in older titles, in retro, classic things. But at the same time, the whole gaming segment is growing as well. Maybe not as fast as everyone would be dreaming, or not as fast as it was growing during COVID times, but still is growing. So it's really hard to say what is growing faster. That said, I really believe that for many, many years, there will be an interest in classic titles, in gaming preservation, because we all have our own memories. We have this nostalgia. We have lots of connections with the games that we were playing when we were kids, when we were younger. Whether it's a memory of spending time with friends and playing together with them, whether it's like specific emotions that we experienced the first while playing this or that game. And that's why we will be always willing to revisit some games. So this will never disappear. Will it be growing? Absolutely. Again, there will be more people in the age where they will be willing to play it. But at the same time, I believe that the market will be growing as well. So in absolute values, yes, there will be more people interested in preservation, in classics. But at the same time, I hope that the industry will be growing as well. Okay. Hopefully faster. So in the future, there will be even more fans of retro titles. I think in ideal worlds, we should be pragmatic and we should talk to community at the same time. Because purely from the risk-averse perspective, obviously it's easier to bring back the original game, just to make a re-release with certain quality of life improvements, talking to community what is crucial for this specific game, not doing like some companies are doing, just release whatever they believe is good. No, you need to work hand in hand with community. You need to listen to them, because the core community, especially for old games, they supported these games sometimes for 10, 20 plus years. And they are the best helpers here. So you need to talk to them and first bring re-release, because this is what people expect in the first place. If you see that there is an interest from the community, and if the word of mouth is spreading the news about this game, definitely you should consider doing remaster, because this is like the next intuitive step in development, or let's say in ensuring that the IP is alive. Making a cool remaster with nice graphics, probably with ensuring that modern gamer can also experience this product nowadays, because we know that if you start playing the game from 20, 30 years ago, for modern gamer, it might be super hardcore. All these roguelikes, it's a piece of cake compared to some old classics. Even if you're playing Hollow Knight or Hades, trust me, there are games that you will experience times more pain than those. So this is where you need to think about it. But at the same time, there are certain titles, certain games where community is already so much formed, or the game has an iconic status, that there is no point in doing just a release. Just make a proper remaster and just ensure that the original experience is part of this remaster release. Then you'll ensure that both people who want to have original experience will have fun, but at the same time modern audience can experience this game with certain improvements and enhancements that are more valid or more interesting for them.
Well, there's two ways. First, you divorce and you happily live ever after. That's always an option. If divisions are different, that's one of the ways of solving the problem. But in the situations of a conflict, I think it's really important to understand why are you in this relationship and who is responsible for what. I am a developer who has a vision for the game, and you want me to work on this game and work with me because I do have this particular vision. So let me do my work and let me deliver this vision. You are responsible for, let's say, distribution, marketing, communicating, promoting, making people excited about the game. Do that. And let's be respectful of our expertise and the reasons why we joined forces working on this game. Think of why you are looking for a publisher. Is it money? Is that someone's ability to reach the same audience of another game you really like? Is it because they can take burden off your shoulders for dealing with some subjects like testing or localization, or maybe they can handle certification, which you've never done before, or any other things which you'd like to list as a problems for yourself? That will define what is you really looking for. And sometimes, quite often, there's very few options for developers and they're just rushing to find someone to be able to sign the deal. That's A, means that you're doing too late. And B, preferably you should be starting doing it way in advance. And you should approach it very carefully and diligently. It's important for you to find your partner. It's important for you to scout for the publisher understands who's good or bad at what. And you should treat it as equally as important as game development if you're really serious about making the product. So, and I see I'm calling it product because when it comes to working with a publisher, it becomes this not funny business relationship, working on the games and the business thing. But that's the truth. If you're working in the field of video games and you would like to release titles commercially to a wide audience of people, you need to allocate a portion of your brain to do things you don't like, and you need to engage and find a partner who you'll be able to communicate with, cooperate with, and be respectful of their strength. I think you're mixing a few things here. So publishers are by default editorial. They're looking to the games and developers and like, oh, I like this. I think it's gonna fit this audience. People are gonna love it. Isn't that already editorial? And staying creatively off means that I found this game, it's amazing, it will fit this audience, but who I am to tell this creative individual or teams how to make the games? We can suggest a few things. Look, audience would love this and this feature because that's important. Or maybe don't do this because usually people get really frustrated here for this and this reason. And that's always good to have. That's very handy. And, it's like a bucket of cold water on the heads of developers, which is kind of useful from time to time. But I think it's two completely different things. All the time we're looking in some opportunity to revive some game. We're like, that doesn't make any sense. We should not be doing it. Let's just stop talking to this guy or girl or the company. Forget about it. And then we're like, maybe let's still try to talk to them. And it's a good game. People are gonna love it. I would love to play it. I would like to bring it back. And then somehow we just continue doing this, which hurts us, honestly, when it comes to the time spent and ability to work on more things, which would make much more sense commercially. But I think because we're doing it out of pure passion and love, is anything you should be doing in life. There's always space and room for reviving things despite the P&L's commercial odds. We're always in this situation. Sometimes, yes, the deals are make absolute perfect sense commercially, no questions, EA level of financial gain, but sometimes they're just not making any profit. We're still doing this.
I think we need to acknowledge one thing: AI is becoming part of our lives, especially if you're working in IT, and majority of us are touching IT software things this or that way. So it will be part of us. I doubt it will disappear in the nearest future. The question is how exactly it's being used. I think that if we're talking about games preservations, like I would be super happy if there would be cool mechanics, cool AI tools that will help us to enhance existing assets. Because in the past, many remasters, everything was done manually. Many games were improved partially and not to the level of gamers' expectations because of the lack of tools or lack of code. And I want to believe that AI can definitely help us to do this in a more efficient way. Because can it be done manually? Always it can. The question is the cost. And in many cases, if it's too expensive, developer will not be doing this. While gamers, even if there is a smaller group who is interested in this product to be revived in fantastic quality, they still exist. And with the help of AI, I want to believe we'll see more cool products, more improved games, enhanced games getting back to gamers. But at the same time, if we're using AI, we need to ensure that the work of the creative part of our industry is respected, because they are the main drivers behind everything we do. And the AI is not on the level where it can replace people. AI is just a tool, but there should be people who are standing behind it, who are giving direction, who are coming up with the great gameplay designs, who are coming with great arts, visuals, who will be the drivers behind it. So is it good that AI is with us? I believe it is, but again, we would need to ensure that it's being used properly with the respect towards the artists and creative people. At the same time, I'm happy that it's becoming part of our lives, part of everything we do, because it definitely helps us to do things more efficiently and to do more things than we even wanted or were able to do in the past.
Good answer.
I believe they can save a lot of time to developers. That's the first thing. But again, publishing is not only about PR marketing, because I think we tend to forget that actually there is lots of work on top of it, whether it's making sure that your games are being released on the platforms, but even uploading builds, taking care of all platforms implementations, especially if we're going towards the console part. It's not easy, and sometimes it's not very intuitive. So if you are a developer who don't have experience in this, trust me, you will sink quite some time in this. Not to mention that most likely you will spend another weeks, if not months, in learning how to better present your product to the audience. What are the different tricks and hints to have a better visibility of your product for gamers? Can you bundle or partner with some other developers or publishers, which will also give you an extra eyeballs on your product? There are many things where publishers will just save you time. But at the same time, if you believe as a developer that you know your audience, you have certain knowledge, or you are happy to invest extra time, and we're talking about really not like days, but usually weeks, if not months, usually months, and learn more of the publishing functions, then definitely do this. If you can afford it, I believe that you should be doing everything yourselves. But if you're a smaller team or you want to cut corners here or there, consider working with a good publisher. But again, you also need to understand who is the best publisher for you. It's also tough work ensuring that you're picking those potential partners who have already experienced similar games. They understand your specific genre. They understand which gamers are interested in your genre, where you can find those. And ideally having a great relationship with platforms. Because whether everything is automated or not, at the end, it's all about human relations. Almost every game that we are able to source the rights for, it brings me so much excitement. I have goosebumps. I'm really thrilled for every title that we are signing. Right now, I think we signed more games that we can actually physically handle, but two of us, and I think this is a great thing to have because we are signing even more things, finally, after many years of different discussions. And I think many of them will be coming to life next year. So this year we'll already have one special joint project, joint release with the GOG folks, with you. And there will be even more cool things coming next year. It's not a secret that for many, many years I was also a huge fan of both D&D and Warhammer universes. So that's the areas where obviously we would love to do more and hopefully something will work out. It was too obvious hint, right? We'll see.
Dark Omen is an amazing classic from the late 90s. It represents a particular part of history of video games, which is critical as all of them to the development of certain genres. And this game disappearing in the abyss of the history of would not be something which would be a good thing. And then remember Oleg talked about never give up. So that is a pure example of us never giving up on the game and eventually finding a leeway in releasing it, making this possible. Dark Omen was released in 1997, and I think following its initial release and then retail re-release, that was it. So think from early 2000s until now, the game was not available commercially. Social engineering. In all honesty, majority of the deals and stories like that, it's all about human interaction. Do they trust you? Do they think you're a good person to do this and this? Aren't you trying to do something shady? Because whenever you engage in any conversation with any IP owner or parts of IP owner, you need to gain their trust. Unless it's just pure financials, which is very rare about that. So building trust and letting people know that we will do best possible work for this game, for this community, will be true to the title. That was something that took the most of the time. I think you already guys talked with Oleg about the balance between what should not go into re-release and remaster. So here, it was very important to ensure that the game works, that we can all enjoy it and play it stably across as many systems as possible, being PC, in a range of hardware configurations. Beyond that, we looked into, okay, what is possible technically with the limited available resources around the game and the assets to improve. And that always comes with a certain checklist. Can we increase the resolution? Can we make the experience smoother? Can we sort out some UI problems or long-term crashes? Is there any substantial reverse engineering that can help us to allocate our time fixing some major issues which are appearing regardless of the configuration? So as we're going through this checklist, if we find our internal ability to fix that, we do that. Or if we find any external ability like a library or a community mod, something that we can bring to the table, which will make it the best possible of way of playing the game, then it goes into the release. We were and are working with Games Workshop very closely on this release. I don't think there was any special guidance for us because they're releasing many Warhammer games. And so I think for them it was similar experience of releasing any other Warhammer games, with certain quirks of this being a classic games and what would be potential response for the community, so we do not upset the gamers and Warhammer fans. I think that was the extent. Because we work with Games Workshop in the past, I think we had certain, again, remember the word trust, that we will do the best possible work, and that gave us a certain freedom in scoping and thinking what it will be the launch release look like, what will go into it, and be able to say, guys, trust us, we'll all fix it. There wasn't such a moment. There was continuous effort in banging in the doors, and then at some point the door opened. We're like, yay, let's do it. my memory of the Dark Omen was going into the gray market, physical gray market, on the streets in the rainy day, looking for the new releases. And just for the clarity, that was the days when the piracy was at the peak of it, and I didn't really have much money. I wasn't able to afford it. So I had 2 games which I wanted to trade in to get the new release, which on the table seemed like to be Warhammer Dark Omen. But the guy on the other side didn't accept the second disc, which I had, which had a scratch, so I never played it when I was a kid. I only remember going through the magazines and looking into screenshots and being upset I never played it. So for me, it was kind of a revenge to this guy. Once I launched the version of the game we've been working on, and it's finally working, I can have the ability to play it. I was like, yes, here I am.
Listen to yourself more, especially when your gut feelings are telling you that's the thing that is worth doing. Sometimes we tend to rely more on our supervisors or somebody else's opinion. Sometimes you just need to follow your own way. Just do this. Sometimes push for your own idea, for your own opinion more. Fight for it, especially if you believe in it. And most likely, it will save the company more time. It's a challenging question because I would say that all the games, I really cannot say that this one I'm more proud of, that game I'm less proud of. All of them are like babies, right? You cannot say, hey, I love this baby more than another one. So they're exactly on the same level. There are games that I play more, but there are games that I play less, but all of them are equal in terms of my understanding of how big of the achievement it is. Am I looking into more games in the future? Yes, I have my own favorite ones. Hopefully one of them will be brought back out of this closet one day.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for having us. It was cool to be back for a while.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.